computer system.
Mm-hmm.
Because the total amount of entropy has to either stay the same or it has to increase.
Oh, that's interesting.
You see?
Yeah.
So Landauer said, well, wait a minute. This means that every time you erase a hard drive or magnetic tape, energy should be released.
So where would that go?
But here's the thing. One is, where would it go? But it goes out into the world. But two, what was it before the hard drive was erased? E equals mc squared, according to Einstein, if energy is being released out into the world when the hard drive is erased, before the erasure, it was mass inside the hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a form of mass that's not electromagnetically detectable?
Dark matter.
So late 70s, we start to see that the projected mass of distant galaxies doesn't match.
Oh my
what it appears
God.
To be based on observations of how light is bent around distant galaxies. So we would see, like, you know, the angle at which light is bent around the galaxy. So you got
Check. Check. Check 1, check 2, checking. Check. Yeah, I mean check. That's checkable.
one galaxy that's very far away, one that's somewhat closer.
That's amazing. That's incredible. I did it. I fucking did it. I think I just did it. Room noise is a problem. Yeah. Well, it's behind, so you're looking at when I wasn't in the room. It might come up to the correct. Hello from the past. Hi, babe. This is me from the past, 10 seconds ago, saying, hey. No, it's our stream, I think, but, yeah, that's in it. Okay. Hold on, trying to get all my gear. Alright, in like 2 minutes you'll see this. The living room light is. Oh, that's one above me? It is frustrating that the quality is so low. It's not that bad. Yeah, but it screams. The lighting will probably help. Alright, let me know. The video sounds good. Like, the video I'm watching sounds good. Trying to get my alien on, y'all know what I'm saying? Shit.
The light of the galaxy that's very far away is being bent around the galaxy that's closer on its way to your observational instrument. And the angle at which it's bent can help you infer the mass of the galaxy, its gravitational impact on the light. Also, they looked at the spin rates of galaxies, and so they found that it's the light from distant galaxies is being bent much more severely
That is
than it
fucking
should be by galaxies that are closer to us,
unbelievable.
based on what
Like OMG? Holy shit. I mean, fuck. Testing. Fuck.
we assumed that the mass of those galaxies was, simply, according to observation of how many stars and so on and so forth there are in those galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they looked at the spin rates of galaxies, and according to, Newtonian and Einsteinian physics, there should be a differential in the spin rate of the galaxy where the inside is spinning much faster than the outside.
Yeah, the universe would fling apart without dark matter. Dark matter justifies gravity's weakness.
So, in other words, they realized that the spin rate of galaxies was being flattened by something we couldn't see.
Yep.
That there's a shell, basically, around these galaxies of mass that has serious gravitational effects, but it's not otherwise electromagnetically observable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, could it be that the data inside a hard drive is this kind of matter that's not electromagnetically observable?
Mm.
There's a physicist, Melvin Vopson, who, working based on Landauer, has theorized that if you could weigh a hard drive before and after there's data on it, you would find that after
The whole world can finally see. So I go this way, this goes this way. The whole world can finally see my research on a daily basis. They can see me seeing the truth, seeing these things for the first time. seeing the aliens, seeing the, you know what I'm talking about, seeing all of these things firsthand. Everything is led up to this moment. There's only one way to make this situation any better than it already was. And I'll tell you how. In whatever key you would like. Oh yeah, I am talking about some alien shit, yeah. Oh my god, it's an alien video, yeah. Why aren't there more podcasts with auto-tune? Why not? Why not? Check. We're doing some commentary. Yeah. Back to the clip.
So you recorded data on it, there would be a slight increase in mass.
Whoa, interesting.
And
I mean, that's easy to empirically.
no,
test.
it's not. You know
Why?
why? There should be a differential in the spin rate of the galaxy where the inside is spinning much faster than the outside.
Yeah, the universe would fling apart without dark matter. Dark matter justifies gravity's weakness.
So, in other words, they realized that the spin rate of galaxies was being flattened by something we couldn't see.
Yep.
That there's a shell basically around these galaxies of mass that has serious gravitational effects, but it's not otherwise electromagnetically observable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, could it be that the data inside a hard drive is this kind of matter that's not electromagnetically observable?
Mm.
There's a physicist, Melvin Vopson, who, working based on Landauer, has theorized that if you could weigh a hard drive before and after there's data on it, you would find that after you recorded data on it, there would be a slight increase in mass.
Whoa, interesting.
And
I mean, that's easy to empirically.
no,
test.
it's not.
Can you believe this guy, Jesse Michels, hasn't heard of this yet? Of course. Does he not watch the Danny Jones podcast? What an idiot. You don't know why? Because he's a Peter Thiel baby boy. That's why. Little bitch. Little bitch.
Not. You know why? Because according to his calculations, the total amount of mass, this is going somewhere very significant, trust me. According to his calculations, the total amount of mass represented by all the data in the world today is 1 kilogram. So we don't have instruments that are sensitive enough to measure the mass differential in even a single large server, let alone a hard drive. You need some kind of quantum measuring system.
Got it.
That's more sensitive than what we can engineer today. But it's, in principle, it is engineerable.
How does he even hypothesize it if, it's not?
See, now he's talking to me. Now it's me and the scientist, not this bitch.
Observable.
Well, he is basing it on Landauer's equations.
Okay.
And he finds some Landauer and also how Claude Shannon mathematized the measurement of data.
Okay.
And he's got some equation that represents like how much energy should be released when a hard drive with 1 bit of information is erased, and what mass that energy is convertible back into.
Sure.
And the total amount on the planet today is 1 kilogram. But here's the thing. The rate of data increase in the world is so exponential that in something like, I have the number of this in my, in one of my most recent books. I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly, but I think at current rates of data increase, which is 25% per year, we have 25% more data each year. In 340 years, we will have a moon's worth of mass on the surface of the Earth at our largest data centers.
What?
Okay. Now,
Holy shit.
is something like only 1/10 the mass of the Earth.
I think it's a fourth.
No.
The
No,
mass.
and this
because
is
it
one
is
of the
less
weird
dense.
things about the moon. This
It's
is one of
less
the weird
dense.
things about the moon is that,
fourth of the size.
yeah, which by the way goes back to what we were saying about the moon being engineered earlier.
Yeah.
The moon should weigh a lot more than it does.
Yeah, it's also less dense on the outside, or it's less dense as you go deeper. It gets less dense, which is the opposite of the Earth. And any sort, only pattern matching.
Yeah, because the friggin' thing is hollow. I mean,
or there are at least hollow
there's
structures in it. or
large
something.
hollow structures in it. Large.
Yeah.
In any case, the moon is like something like,
Even Gordon McDonald, who was Eisenhower's chief space advisor, said that the only way the moon makes sense
yes.
is if it was hollow.
So here's the thing: the moon has a relatively small mass compared to the Earth.
Yeah. Sure.
But it has tremendous gravitational effects on the Earth.
Yeah.
If, as we were saying earlier, if you had no moon, the Earth.
But the mass, it should still be a fourth of the Earth mass.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah, check the numbers. And this is one very interesting.
It's not, Jesse. Shut up. Be quiet. Let him talk. Jesus, I hate this guy. Unbelievable.
Okay.
In and of itself.
Okay.
But here's the thing: even though it weighs so little, it has huge gravitational effects on the Earth.
Yeah.
And we'd have 8-hour days, if we didn't have the moon.
Yeah.
Slowing the orbit of the Earth. And it controls the tides and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So if you were to put a moon's worth of mass on the surface of the Earth at Silicon Valley and data centers in China, it would be a geophysical catastrophe.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
You would, the planet would start to, you'd have massive earthquakes, you'd have massive volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, because see, the oceans would be pulled toward the data centers.
Yeah. So how do you square that circle? How does that work?
It means we're headed for an information catastrophe.
Mm.
That's what Vopson says, is that we are accumulating data at such a rate that because that data is a hidden mass, because it's dark matter, at a certain point, we will face a geophysical catastrophe resulting from the critical mass of data on the Earth.
Interesting. I've never heard anybody bring this up. This is just wild.
All right, but
I've
now
heard of like nickel shortages for servers and stuff, but
yeah. So now, but here's the really interesting thing about that is, and this is a step that's taken by John Archibald Wheeler in the late 70s, early 80s. Again, Wheeler developing, the ideas of Rolf Landauer. If it's the case that matter and energy are interconvertible, as Einstein understood, and now we want to admit that energy and information are interconvertible, that data is released as energy when it's erased, and that prior to erasure, data is a hidden mass inside of a computational system. Well, that means that it's not just matter and energy that are interconvertible. There's a third term, namely information. Matter, energy, and information are all different states of the same thing. It's a very short step from there, conceptually, philosophically, to say what John Wheeler did, which is that we get it from bit, that actually matter and energy are different states of information. And we're living in an informational cosmos. That we're living inside of some kind of a quantum computational information processing system.
I believe that. I believe that for so many reasons. I mean, you have Heisenberg's uncertainty principle of like position and momentum. You measure one, the other gets fuzzier. That looks like a computational caching function. You have all the anthropic principle stuff, which Wheeler and other physicists bring up around all the constants on Earth. If they were slightly different, you wouldn't have a habitable Earth. And yeah, I think that just makes total sense to me. It's funny how in vogue the kind of Nick Bostrom, simulation stuff is. Like Elon Musk is a big fan of this stuff, where it's like we can't be in base reality, but then nobody assumes that physics itself is programmed. It's funny. Like I think Sam Altman put out a tweet. It was like intelligence is a product of physics, and I wanted to say physics is a product of intelligence.
Yeah, totally.
Or something. Yeah. It's actually the inverse. So I fully agree with that.
Now, where this fits into the big picture,
yes,
is that I argue, and the devil's in the details. People need to look at the argument, but I argue in Closer Encounters that ultimately what's going on here with this, UAP situation.
Wait, can I say one more thing on the last thing you were talking about? So the thing that I find so fascinating about dark matter, I don't think it exists. You have people like, like Brian Keating and others just like, we're going to figure it out. We're going to find it. And it's like, I would short dark matter because I'd short a lot of these things that exist on cosmological scales, I think there's sort of a scaling problem in physics where if you have if you have an anomaly at low scale, like say a rocket's 1 degree off course, you're going to end up 99 degrees off course by the time you're in space. And so you have all these issues with the cosmological constant. Now, it really, really helps rationalize the kind of deist sort of, you know, think about light as the rendering, the active rendering of reality.
Yeah.
You have Fermat's principle in algorithmic principles where always takes the basically the shortest path between two points. And so if you have something that doesn't interact with light and that is its primary feature in the form of dark matter, is that just unrendered reality?
Right.
And then there is something about the observer or the participatory, Wheeler universe or something where
Yeah, and
the interaction is sort of
yes, and it's very clear from look, to me, the best interpretation of wave particle duality and the collapse of the wave function by the observer is that it's a rendering optimization function,
I agree.
and that doesn't mean that there's some objective reality in the context of which we're a second order simulation.
Yeah.
It could simply be that in a cosmos where consciousness and intelligence are integral, you have something like rendering optimization as a feature of the system.
Of course, it would make total sense that it would be a feature of the system, and that a single computational node would only be able to, render,
Right.
only so much. And I mean, there are even more examples. I know you've talked about Rupert Sheldrake in your book, Prometheus and Atlas, and you've met him. And Sheldrake,
Even God needs processing power. Even he will utilize RAM or whatever. I don't know. You guys.
also, he talks.
I never met
you never met
Sheldrake. No, I
Sheldrake,
wrote
okay.
to him. I wrote to him.
Oh, I can introduce you.
He said, listen, mate, the problem is I'm an Anglican and you're a Satanist. And so, that's
Are you
the end of the
a Satanist?
How about, it's we can get into unpacking that.
Wait, that should be an easy answer for you.
Yeah.
Are you?
Well, I'm
Whoa,
Prometheus.
whoa.
So
you're for the
if
fallen.
if you think that
Well, fuck.
Prometheus and Enki and Quetzalcoatl are, a satanic whatever. Say Satan means the adversary.
Yep.
Right? That they're the adversary of the control system represented by the Elohim, by Enlil's Anunnaki, and so on and so forth, by the Devas. Then yes, in that sense.
So in a sort of Gnostic, Kabbalistic way, you're for
Sure.
Satan
So Sheldrake was like, mate, like the conversation is going to end before it begins because
yeah. Well,
you're with Lucifer.
He wrote a book called "The Physics of Angels," and he's I love him. He's a friend of mine.
But the point you're making is completely legitimate. In other words, Sheldrake's account of morphic resonance completely reaffirms the idea that we're living in a quantum computational system. Because the fact that you would, let's say, you synthesize some pharmaceutical compound for the first time somewhere, and it takes a very long time to cohere. Then somebody else completely unrelated to you tries to synthesize